Mr. Wang, this is doctored! She's framing me! This woman was the one who cheated first.
Lu Ming, how could you?
Miss Zhao, as a co-beneficiary of this corporate embezzlement case, I'm afraid it wouldn't be appropriate for you to leave now.
W, who are you?
Xu Yan, partner at a Red Circle law firm. This is a notice of assistance in enforcement issued by the relevant authorities. Unit 2801, Building A of Champs-Élysées, has been legally frozen. Miss Zhao, if there are any personal belongings you need to retrieve, you can apply within 24 hours. Otherwise, it will be deemed a waiver.
Frozen.
That's my house.
Under the regulations, all property obtained through illicit means shall be recovered or ordered to be returned. To put it simply, that house...
Didn't you, Lu Ming, embezzle my money to keep another woman and buy a house? Lu Ming, you got some nerve. Qi. Call the police. Use my phone. Zhao Sisi, you and Lu Ming committed embezzlement together. Please come with us to assist with the investigation. Anything you say can and will be used as evidence in court.
You did this on purpose. You knew all along. You did this on purpose.
Yes. On New Year's Eve, you posted on your moments. All the waiting is worth. That was my due date. What exactly were you waiting for?
Zhao Sisi.
Waiting for my baby to be born? Or waiting for me to die in the delivery room?
Lin Yue, you ruined me.
Why are you hitting the child? You're an adult laying a hand on a 5-year-old child. Have you no shame?
Be quiet. Don't run around.
Your son wiped chocolate on his cuff, and he's the one who just knocked over the flower basket. And those are melon seed shells you spat on the carpet. On New Year's Eve, he used that very hand to push me from behind. Screaming, push her to death. So don't ever tell me he was just playing around again.
And you, why make such a fuss with a child? Everyone is watching. Don't embarrass me.
Do you think you can walk away unscathed?
We're married! If I go to jail, you won't escape either! Do you really think you can—
Lu Ming, these are the terms you drafted yourself. All risks and debts arising from the husband's professional activities shall be borne solely by the husband and have no legal connection to the wife. Should the husband's fault cause any loss to family assets, the husband promises to compensate the wife in full using his personal property. It's right here, in black and white. Your signature, your fingerprint.
No, I only did that to
prevent your bankruptcy from dragging me down, right? Those were your exact words back then. You said your job carried high risks, and you didn't want to drag the two of us down. Well, now the agreement is in effect. Stop.
Xiaoyu, look, what happened tonight was all a misunderstanding. We didn't know Lu Ming was this kind of person. If we had known...
That's his problem. Now, let's settle our accounts. On Chinese New Year's Eve, your son, Qiang pushed me to the ground from behind. I was 38 weeks pregnant then. That push triggered early labor and severe hemorrhaging. I almost didn't make it out of the delivery room.
That was an accident! The child is only 5. What does he know?
Are you really holding it against a child?
A 5-year-old child indeed doesn't know any better. But what about you? You were right there when it happened. You watched your son rush at me from behind. You watched me fall onto the tiled floor. But you didn't call an ambulance. You didn't help me up. And you didn't even scold your son once. Instead, you just went back to the table and picked up a piece of braised pork. According to the law, if a person with no civil capacity causes damage to others, the guardian shall bear tort liability. Medical expenses are 23,000 yuan. For lost wages, my monthly prenatal salary was 15,000 yuan. Calculating for a 6-month postpartum recovery period, that's 90,000 yuan. Nursing care, nutrition, and subsequent rehabilitation fees total 86,000 yuan.
Are you robbing me?
It was an accident! You're being unreasonable.
I'm being unreasonable.
When Lu Ming made me give a 2,000 yuan red envelope to your son as a deposit,
why didn't you say that was unreasonable? Well, you don't have to pay. That's lawyer Xu Yan, one of the country's top lawyers who speaks up for the public. You saw the video just now. You let your child push me, and then you conspired with Lu Ming to coerce me and extort counter-compensation. If I submit this appraisal report and the video to the authorities, you'll be the ones locked up. Maybe not that extreme, but your grandson's future will be up in the air.
And it'll be too late for regrets then.
Lin Yu, could you deposit some money for me?
Everything is expensive in here. Toothpaste, soap, toilet paper, they all cost money. I know I was wrong in the past, but for the sake of our time together as husband and wife, could you send me some allowance?
It doesn't have to be much. Even 500 yuan a month would do.
There doesn't seem to be a clause here about visiting my ex-husband and paying for his expenses.
But I only did all that for this family.
Save your breath. I have the money. 500 a month is 6,000 a year. Even if I paid you for 10 years, it would only be 60,000 yuan. My postpartum recovery center made that back in its first month. Even if I threw that money into the river, I'd at least hear a splash. But give it to you. I just don't want to. Lu Ming, you refused to pay that 1,000 yuan for my epidural back then. And now you expect a pain-free life. Too late.
Lin Yu.
The taste of freedom.
With 280 square meters and floor-to-ceiling windows on 3 sides, you're not just opening a shop, you're building a fortress. Xiaoyu, your shop is so beautiful and grand.
Actually, I'd like to sign up for a membership.
I see all the other wives are doing this postpartum recovery treatment.
Can you give me a family discount?
We're relatives. After all, I'm sorry, we don't offer discounts.
That's fine then. Original price is fine. Look. Furthermore, since you are on our specific blacklist, all service fees will require an additional 30% surcharge.
What? What blacklist?
We have a special protection program for our long-time clients. For clients with a record of certain behaviors, we will charge an emotional value surcharge on top of the standard price. Here are the terms.
Why? Lingyu.
No matter what, we're still relatives.
They have to help you with your rectus abdominis recovery while listening to you talk about how pushing down that pregnant woman back then was just a joke.
That kind of labor comes with a cost.
According to the emotional value self-pay agreement, this money
Must be paid by you. You.
If you have no other questions, please make the payment.
Sai, let's go.
Daddy is back. Say hi to Daddy.
So ugly.
What does this mean?
Since you're here, sign this. I thought about it. Our previous investments were too risky. To secure our daughter's future, we need to draw a clean line between our assets. My income is high, but my profession carries high risks. If I face any claims, I don't want to drag you and our daughter down. Plus, this agreement shows your gesture to make up for the trouble your fall caused the family. If you don't sign,
What if I don't?
then don't blame me for showing no mercy. You know what I'm capable of. If you insist on dividing assets in a divorce, I have ways to make sure you don't get a single penny, not even custody of our child.
I now hold a property purchase agreement between him and Zhao Sisi. He misappropriated client to escrow funds from his case to pay the down payment. This is no longer just a divorce lawsuit. This is prison time.
Fine.
To show my sincerity, I'll add a clause too.
What?
Since we are separating assets, my debts must be clearly defined. Let's write down the 30,000 yuan for my childbirth costs as my personal debt. That way you won't be held responsible for it in the future. Right?
Of course. Write it down. Make it absolutely clear that this was your personal expense.
Lumia, you asked for this yourself. I hope you don't regret it too soon. At this moment, he wouldn't even buy an extra pack of diapers.
The game is just beginning.
It turns out a human heart grows cold in gradual stages.
Mom, watch the baby for me. Don't open the door no matter who knocks. Where are you going? Where are we going?
Stay home. Staying home. From now on, I am no longer the Ling Yu who had to ask for his permission just to buy groceries. I am a hunter. And the first thing a hunter must do is to uncover the prey's hen. Now, I see right through him. That wasn't the respect an intern shows to her mentor's wife. It was a victor sizing up the defeated.
That day you told me you were going to court, and I believed you.
While I was heavily pregnant, ironing your shirts at home,
You were in a showroom, looking at a love nest with another woman. Lumia, you didn't even bother to lie convincingly. Pain is fuel. The hotter it burns, the clearer my mind becomes.
This Apple ID was registered the year we got married. He said sharing it would be convenient. Only later did I realize it was just his tool to monitor me.
But he forgot that this knife cuts both ways. Got you.
A 4 million down payment. He earns 2 million a year.
But for the past 3 years, he's lived off of me.
Claiming his own money was tied up in investments.
With this 4 million Lumin, you've dug yourself a magnificent grave. Hengqiang Group, his key client.
He was the project leader for that listed company's merger.
And the escrow account contains the special funds the firm manages for the client.
This money isn't yours. You misappropriated client funds. Screenshots alone aren't enough. I need to get stamped copies. I need solid evidence. The hunter has taken the first step, and the prey is still oblivious. All his cards have been laid bare. Last year, Luming said his team was hosting a high-end cocktail party and insisted on dragging me to the IFC to buy this. At the time, I thought he was finally willing to spend money on me. Only later did I find out he had charged it to my credit card. I ended up paying the bill myself.
Xiaoyu, who are you going to meet dressed like this?
Our old friend.
Ling Yu, whatever you're planning to do, I won't ask. But you must remember,
The baby needs her mother.
Ma, it's for her sake that I must see this through, so that she won't be trampled on like I was in the future, and still have to smile and say thank you.
I know this place all too well. Before marrying Lu Ming, I was a real estate agent for 3 years. In my best month, I sold 4 properties on my own and made a killing in commissions. If he hadn't persuaded me to give up my career, I wouldn't be earning any less than him now.
And those 3 years of experience taught me one thing. Sales consultants aren't machines. They're human, and humans have desires, weaknesses, and cracks that can be pried open.
Hello, ma'am. Are you here to look at properties? Would you like me to assign a dedicated consultant to you? No, thanks. I'm here to see Manager Chen. Reception. There's a lady here to see Manager Chen.
Do you have an appointment?
No. Just tell Manager Chen that Miss Zhao cousin is here to help her with the contract. He'll know what it's about. Manager Chen, there's a lady here to see you. She says she's Miss Zhao's cousin.
Hello, I'm Chen Hao.
You said you're Miss Zhao's cousin. Cici hasn't been feeling well lately,
so she asked me to come down and handle this for her.
Oh dear, what's wrong with Miss Zhao? Nothing serious, I hope.
Just some female troubles.
So, what aspects of the contract did you need to handle today?
Well, the couple is having a bit of a tiff.
A couple?
You know how young folks are. They love hard, but they fight hard too. This time was a bit serious. Cici was too embarrassed to come herself, so she asked me to come check the contract for her.
You know, Lawyer Lu.
You probably know a bit about their situation. Cici is throwing a tantrum right now. She suspects Lu Ming tampered with the contract and feels uneasy, so she sent me to get a copy for her to check.
But this contract has already been signed online. The copies should mostly be with Mr. Lu. Besides, Lawyer Lu just came by last week with Miss Zhao to look at the renovation plans.
They seem so in love. How did they suddenly? Well, you know men.
They're one way to your face, and another behind your back. Cici is pregnant now and very sensitive. She insisted on seeing the contract herself. Sure, she's throwing a fit. But what if this affects her pregnancy? None of us could answer to Lu Ming, right?
Tell you what, please wait a moment. Let me see what I can do. But normally, copies can only be given to the buyer themselves. I'll have to get approval from my manager first.
Of course.
By the way, Cici said last time that your service was excellent. She asked me to bring you something to say thank you. It's nothing expensive, just some smokes.
You are far too kind. Please wait about 10 minutes. I'll go to the records room to retrieve it.
No rush. Take your time. What if Chen Hao calls Zhao Cici to verify? What if he asks to see my ID? What if Zhao Cici happens to be nearby and rushes over to confront me?
Sorry to keep you waiting. Here are the main pages of the contract. I've made a separate clear copy of the guarantee clause page for you, but we still have to follow procedure. If you could just sign here. Just sign Zhao Cici's name to collect it on her behalf. No problem.
I will not sign the name Lin Yu. That name is the heaviest shackle I bear, and at this very moment, this is the exact shackle I am going to break. Thanks for your help.
My pleasure. Please give Miss Zhao my regards.
Hello?
Is this lawyer Xu Yan? This is Lin Yu.
Yes, tomorrow at 3 p.m., Wutong Lane in the Old District.
White Noise Cafe.
Just give them my name when you arrive.
Lu Ming, you think you've laid out a flawless game of chess, but you forgot that you're not the only one playing.
Have a seat. You look better than I expected.
I just finished confinement. I'm relying entirely on Foundation to hold myself together.
Alright, do you know what kind of bad blood there is between Lu Ming and me?
I know the gist of it. 3 years ago, he stole one of your cases and reported you to the Bar Association. You were under investigation for 6 months.
Exactly.
I spent a full 8 months preparing for that case. But the catch was that he bribed my assistant at the time, who leaked my defense strategy the day before the trial. Although the Bar Association's investigation eventually cleared my name, those 6 months were enough for him to poach my 3 biggest clients. So, you came to me because you want me to handle your divorce. Miss Lin, if you're just looking for child support or damages for emotional distress, I can refer you to other lawyers for this kind of minor case.
No.
This isn't a divorce case. This is a criminal case. I thought I'd seen enough scumbags in my life. Postpartum nursing pads, 12.5 yuan. Disposable delivery caps, 3 yuan. Hospital cafeteria delivery fee, 5 yuan. A total of 1,000 yuan. Party A bears 0 yuan. And Party B bears the full amount.
You were on the delivery bed, and he made you sign it.
And you signed it.
I did.
He held my hand down to sign, telling me not to shake so the fingerprint would be clear. Then let me ask you, do you know what this clause means? Misappropriating client funds and occupational investment. If convicted, he faces 3 to
10 years.
You've even studied criminal law. How would I have the energy to study criminal law during postpartum confinement? But back when I was a real estate agent, I saw cases of people being sentenced for misappropriating client deposits. The basic logic is the same. And since this is a listed company's regulated account, if I'm not mistaken, this account has much stricter compliance requirements than a regular custodial account. Once the flow of funds is investigated, there's no hiding it. You're right. Hengqiang Group's custodial account is under three-party supervision by brokerages, leaving a bank trail for every transaction. Luming embezzled $2 million from this account for a down payment. The transfer records are irrefutable evidence. You have the screenshot, and I can obtain the originals through legal channels. It's enough. Enough to put him behind bars for 10 years. Occupational embezzlement, Article 271 of the criminal law. Taking advantage of one's position to embezzle a huge amount of company property carries 3 to 10 years. 1 million is considered a huge amount. And since he embezzled the custodial funds of a listed company, it might also involve regulatory penalties from securities authorities. He won't just go to prison, his license to practice law will be revoked. And with a record in the financial system, he'll never work in legal services again. But there's still one question. Have you ever wondered why Luming is in such a rush to have you sign those two agreements? The epidural self-pay agreement and the supplementary postnuptial property division agreement. Looking at them together, his intention is all too obvious. There's another question. Have you ever thought about why Luming was in such a hurry to make you sign those two agreements? The epidural self-pay agreement and the supplementary postnuptial property division agreement. Looking at these two things together, his intentions are all too obvious.
What intentions?
He's cutting ties. Before you find out the truth, he wants to strip away everything that could implicate him, including you, his wife, and cast them all off. This is not how someone who wants to save a marriage would act. You mean he might have sensed that he's about to be exposed? Hengqiang Group's audits are usually at the end of the year, and the financial flows of the MA deal he managed will be audited sooner or later. If he sensed he couldn't survive the year-end audit, then all of his recent behavior makes perfect sense. Transferring assets, offloading debt, placating you to keep you quiet, and then fleeing before the truth comes out. The agreement he had you sign, its core clause is that you waive your rights to the joint marital assets, while taking on all of the debt. Once he flees, all the creditors will come after you.
He schemed against me for 3 years, and it's still not enough. He even wants to cut off my last way out. But for all his calculations, he never expected me to search his files.
But are you sure you want to go through with this? Once you take this step, there's no turning back. He will definitely come after you relentlessly, using every resource he has to fight back. And even if you win and he goes bankrupt or goes to prison, you won't get a single cent in child support. You might have to raise the child alone and start over from scratch. Have you really thought all of this through? When was this taken?
3 months ago. Her due date is estimated to be around September.
So while you were about to give birth, he was already with Zhao Sisi,
expecting a child. I don't care who he loves.
Whether he loves Zhao Sisi or some Wang Sisi, it's his business who he wants to buy a 12 million yuan luxury apartment for.
But the money he spent, every single cent of that down payment, is stained with my blood.
For the past 3 years, he transferred my salary out the moment it hit my account, under the guise of managing our finances together. I had to log every grocery purchase and report before buying clothes. Even during my pregnancy, I had to walk on eggshells just to eat some cherries. I thought it was all for our family, to save up for a house.
And the result?
Every single yuan I saved was used by him to build a nest for someone else. I could let it go if he just wanted my money. But when I was lying on the delivery bed hemorrhaging, he made me sign an agreement just for 1,000 yuan epidural. My life and the way my daughter entered this world were nothing but a transaction to him. And then there was New Year's Eve. That spoiled brat pushed me to the ground from behind, screaming, "That's what you get for not buying me an Ultraman." I crashed onto the tiled floor in front of all our relatives and my water broke. I almost lost my baby. And my husband, the man who should have protected me, not only failed to get me justice, but even forced me to give the culprit a red envelope to apologize. The Lin Yu who loved Luming so much she lost herself died in that delivery room. The person sitting here now only wants justice. I don't want child support. I can earn that pittance on my own. I want to take back what's mine and reclaim the price of my 3 years of youth and dignity. Deal. It's a pleasure working with you. I'll take this case pro bono. Not for anything else, but just to see Luming on his knees crying. I've waited 3 years for this. But when he does kneel, I must be there.
3 years.
I've also been schemed against by Luming for nearly 3 years. You've waited 3 years for this day. Ever since half a year after our marriage, when Zhao Sisi joined that law firm. That was exactly when he became a different person. Could there really be such a coincidence in this world? Get in the car. We'll start planning the 100-day banquet tomorrow.
If he wants to put on a show, I'll set the stage for him. A show that he will never forget.
Here is the guest list for the 100-day banquet. Take a look.
Are you sure you want to invite Zhao Sisi?
She's with the firm. It wouldn't look right if she didn't show up. Don't overthink it. Mr. Wang is our key client. He must be at the head table and in the best private room. The drinks must not be below this standard.
The budget isn't quite enough for that.
Is this how you get things done?
Did I not give you enough money?
Can't you chip in a bit of your own?
I've supported you for so long and you do nothing at home. You can't even handle a simple thing like this.
I understand.
I'll see what I can do. Don't just try. Get it done. I've been cultivating this connection with Mr. Wang for 2 years. Whether we can renew the retainer contract for next year depends entirely on this dinner. This is the schedule I've prepared for the 100-day banquet. Just follow it. By the way, hand me your phone. What for? I'll have Xiaojiao send you the background image. With your taste, I'm afraid you'll make the screen look like a chaotic wet market. Alright, I'm off to the firm. No need to wait for me for dinner tonight.
I can't believe that for a man like this. I sacrificed 3 years of my youth and all my savings.
I only have one shot. Lu Ming thinks fast and is extremely eloquent.
If I can't, before he gets a chance to react, expose all the evidence at once, he will definitely find a loophole to slip through, and then turn the tables, just like he does in court.
Have a seat.
I reviewed the list of evidence you sent. The guarantee clause in the purchase contract is the fatal blow, supported by the recordings and the epidural agreement. The chain of evidence is complete. If we follow this sequence, within 3 minutes, he'll go through 3 stages: humiliation, credibility collapse, and legal ruin. By the time he realizes what's happening and tries to grab the mic, you'll have already locked in the audience's emotions, and any defense he makes will look like a desperate struggle.
Thank you. Attorney Xu.
There's something I want to ask you. 3 years ago, what kind of case was it that Lu Ming stole from you? An MA case involving a listed company. It's very similar to this Hengqiang case. Who was the client?
What are you getting at?
I want to know, when did Lu Ming start to change? 6 months after our marriage, Zhao Sisi joined the firm, and that's when he started transferring my salary away. He started controlling my income under the guise of financial management and logging every single household expense in a ledger. What are you implying? I'm not sure, but you said before that he bribed your assistant to get your defense strategy the day before the trial. And then he stole your case and poached your 3 biggest clients. This happened right around the time Zhao Sisi joined the firm, and Zhao Sisi just happened to be the assistant he planted by your side. Quite a coincidence.
Don't you think?
Everything happened in the same year. You were framed. I was under his control. Zhao Sisi was planted in your team, and then he pulled her out. By stepping on the 3 of us women, he secured both key clients and his so-called true love at the same time. You're smarter than I thought. But for now, don't dig any deeper into this.
Why?
Because right now, we need to concentrate all our firepower on the 100-day banquet. Embezzling client funds is a criminal offense. It's the fastest way to bring him down.
I understand.
As for the rest, once he's locked up, all the files will be dug up. By then, you'll be able to find out whatever you want. Then I have just one last question. Once all this is over, will you tell me the whole truth about what happened 3 years ago?
I will.
Lin Yu, you just said you've been schemed against for 3 years. Well, I've also been waiting 3 years for my revenge. As for Zhao Sisi, she spent 3 years thinking she could go from being an intern to Mrs. Lu, only to end up with nothing. When Lu Ming ruined wasn't just 3 women, but 3 lives. But he forgot that those who are controlled will eventually wake up.
Nothing will go wrong. I've rehearsed every single detail of this play I tailored for you countless times. Now, we just wait for the main character to take the stage.
Are the side doors covered?
2 plainclothes officers are stationed outside the private room, guarding both side doors. As long as he doesn't break through the main entrance, he won't get away.
He's trained in Muay Thai.
He even placed in amateur tournaments back in college.
Then I'll post another officer behind the stage. We absolutely cannot let him get near the sound system.
Got it.
Xiaoyu, what are you doing here? The baby woke up and kept crying. She probably knew you weren't there. It's so late. What are you thinking about out here all by yourself?
I was just thinking, when our daughter grows up, and she asked me what kind of person her father was, how should I answer her?
Is everything ready? Will it be dangerous tomorrow?
No.
Juan has made arrangements, and the police will be there. Everything is under control. You've always been a strong girl.
Do you remember the year your dad passed away? I remember what you told me that year. You said, "Mom, from now on, I will protect you."
Mom, now it's my turn to keep my promise. I'll protect you both.
Mom, after tomorrow, no one will ever bully the 2 of us again. What will happen to Lu Ming?
He'll realize that not everything in this world can be calculated with an abacus. Sir, could you please help me test this? The file name is Beloved Daughter, a 100-day growth record.
No problem. It plays very smoothly.
Thank you.
This video is very important to me. Please, I'm counting on you.
Mr. Wang is sitting directly facing the big screen. From this angle, he will be the first person in the room to see every picture. 2 security guards at the side door, and 1 behind the stage. As long as he doesn't run out the door,
he won't be able to escape.
Xiaoyu, you've recovered well. It seems your fall that day wasn't too serious.
Like I said, our Qiangqiang was just playing around with you. Thank you for your concern, Auntie.
That day indeed taught me a lesson.
Is little Qiang Qiang here too? Make sure he behaves and doesn't run wild.
By the way, Lu Ming said last time that you'd prepare a 2000 wine red envelope to calm the child's nerves. How come I haven't seen it? Surely you didn't forget. Let me tell you, Qiang Qiang was so terrified that day he got a fever. I'm already doing you a huge favor by not asking you to reimburse his medical bills.
You're right. I haven't forgot.
I will definitely give you a proper explanation today.
I brought it with me. Here you go.
That's more like it. Alright, I'll go find a seat first.
What are you doing?
Lumi, it hurts so much. Get me an epidural quick.
Sign and leave a thumbprint. The epidural is 1,000 yuan. You pay for it yourself.
Lumi. I'm literally dying of pain. Please tell me you're joking.
Sign it. Quick. Even if you don't make it off the operating table, I've got insurance on you. So it won't be a loss.
Take the pen.
Hurry up. The anesthesiologist is waiting. Lin Yu, if you just agreed to split the expenses earlier, you wouldn't have to suffer like this. Just sign it. Don't let your hand shake.
Happy now.
Doctor, you can give her the shot now.
Remember to note on the bill that this is an out-of-pocket expense strongly requested by the patient.
Lumi, when you made me sign just now, did you consider what would happen if I died on the operating table?
Don't talk like that. Even if there was an accident, I have insurance on you, so it wouldn't be a loss.
And what about the baby?
The child is joint property. I will fulfill my support obligations. But the depreciation cost of your body is on you.
The old Ling Yu who loved Lu Ming so much she lost herself.
Why isn't the hemostatic gauze used just now on the bill? The agreement clearly states that, apart from basic medical care, any additional medical supplies are to be borne by party B, namely my wife. This hemostatic gauze is imported gauze used by the doctor to stop the bleeding. It's not covered by insurance and should be billed separately.
Sir, the patient was hemorrhaging at the time. It was to save her life, and you're haggling over this now.
Saving a life is still a transaction. Add it to the bill and have her sign it. Otherwise, I refuse to pay.
Give it to me. Nurse, bring it here. I'll sign.
It's Xingtou Qiantai in total. Just WeChat it to me.
Lumi, here. Give me the phone.
Is the transfer complete?
It's done. Let this 180 yuan buy out the last remaining bond between us. You bastard.
My daughter is fighting for her life in there, while he's out here calculating bills.
Is this really about 1,000 yuan?
That was your life at stake.
Mom, you can't put it that way. Liu is an adult with full civil capacity. As her husband, I advanced the payment immediately. That was out of goodwill.
Goodwill.
Ma, don't break it. That cup belongs to the hospital. If you break it, we have to pay 10 yuan. According to our agreement, this is an additional expense caused by a family member's emotional outburst.
So I'm the one who has to pay.
See? Lin Yu, that is very sensible. We are all reasonable people. Since Mom is here too, let's settle the accounts for New Year's Eve. On New Year's Eve, didn't my cousin's kid push Lin Yu? It triggered Lin Yu's early labor. Although she did give birth in the end, this still qualifies as an accident. The kid is only 5 years old. What does he know? A child doesn't know any better. But Lin Yu, you're an adult. Why didn't you dodge Imura? Your fall terrified everyone, and the reunion dinner was ruined. My aunt just said in the group chat that the kid got so scared he ran a fever at home.
So? What's your point?
My cousin's family is reasonable. They aren't asking for emotional distress damages. But the taxi fare, emergency registration fee, and any potential follow-up costs are considered expanded losses caused by your negligence. Under the fall principle, you must cover 80% of it.
Are you even human? That brat pushed Xiaoyu from behind. Xiaoyu was heavily pregnant then. With a belly that big, how could she have dodged? And you expect Xiaoyu to pay?
I've watched the surveillance footage. The corridor is so wide, yet he insisted on walking right down the middle.
The red envelope. I can give it.
I knew you were sensible. Transfer it to Auntie right now, then. Not so fast.
Before I transfer it, return the hospital deposit to me first.
What?
The hospital deposit was 30,000 yuan, and I paid with my card. According to the civil code, having a child is a family necessity, and such expenses should be jointly borne by both spouses. Since you want to split every single penny, let's do it by the law. Transfer me 15,000 out of that 30,000.
Li Yu, are you citing the law to me now?
I didn't want to. You forced my hand.
On Chinese New Year's Eve, your mother broke a bottle of my Dior foundation. That's 580 yuan. Your nephew soiled my wool carpet. Dry cleaning cost 300 yuan. The eel rice you just ate used my Meituan membership coupon.
Saving you 8 yuan.
Why don't you calculate all of this too, Lawyer Lu, before you lecture me about giving red envelopes to that brat?
Are you insane?
Mom is right here. Aren't you embarrassed?
Embarrassed.
Did you feel embarrassed when you made me sign the epidural agreement? Or is your respectable 2 million yuan annual salary entirely saved by squeezing your wife?
I'm doing this for our family. I work myself to the bone out there and put all the money into investments to buy a bigger house in the future and to send our child to an international school.
Fine. Investments. Right.
Then open your investment account and let me have a look. Since my mother is here, let her put her mind at ease too.
I have to get approval from the compliance department to check it. Since you're being so unreasonable, I'm going back to the firm. I have a court hearing to attend. You and Mom look after the baby. Don't call me if everything is fine. I'm busy.
Xiaoyu, can you really go on living like this?
We can't.
Then get a divorce. I'll help you raise the baby.
I will definitely divorce him.
But not just yet.
Right now, I have no money and I'm still doing my confinement. Lu Ming is a cunning lawyer. If I ask for a divorce now, he'll make sure I leave with nothing and even end up in debt. Over the past 3 years, he transferred all of my salary, plus my premarital savings. It's at least 1 million yuan.
This debt must be settled.
Wei, can you bring that old laptop from home? I'm so bored at the hospital. I want to watch some shows.
You want me to make a special trip just to bring you a laptop?
It's on your way home from work anyway. I can't do anything during confinement. And the baby sleeps all the time. I'm bored to death.
Fine, fine. I'll bring it to you tonight.
Here, don't look at it for too long. It's bad for your eyes.
Is the password still your birthday?
Well, of course, I've never changed it. Oh, by the way, don't forget to pay off the credit card bill this week. My investments won't mature for a while, and I'm tight on cash.
Mrs. Lu must have had a hard time. She barely dresses up with such a big belly.
Still, Attorney Lu is so caring. He's just worried you'll get tired.
No wonder he wanted to save money. No wonder he haggled with me over a 1,000 yuan epidural. It turns out he was building a nest for another woman and child. In that 12 million yuan, there's the salary I handed over these past 3 years, the grocery money I scraped together, and even my half of the epidural cost.
He used my money to play the good guy and support his mistress. Lumia, do you really think I will fight back?
President Wang, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come. I'm truly honored.
Lawyer Lu, about your last merger proposal, come by the office sometime so we can discuss it in person.
Absolutely. Today is my daughter's 100-day celebration, so no work talk. Please enjoy yourself, President Wang.
When she accused me of embarrassing her, she didn't feel ashamed of herself at all. As always, she reserves all her respect for those who are wealthier than her. Sister-in-law, you look great today, but you still look a bit tired. Caring for a baby is indeed exhausting.
Thank you everyone for coming to my daughter Little Pomegranate's 100-day banquet today.
Especially President Wang and Miss Zhao.
Zhao Sisi, an intern at our firm who works very hard.
We've been through so much these past 100 days, from the delivery room to postpartum confinement, and now to standing here today. I'd like to thank one person in particular, my husband, Lu Ming. Even though he is so busy with work, he still managed to take care of me and our daughter. So I prepared a special video
to share with you all.
What are you doing?
This isn't on the schedule. It's a surprise.
What is this?
Signing an agreement just to get an epidural during childbirth.
Oh my god.
An epidural is billed as a personal expense, and she even had to sign for it.
President Wang, this is a misunderstanding.
What's going on here? Lawyer Lu. Why isn't the hemostatic gauze used just now on the bill? This hemostatic gauze is imported and not covered by medical insurance, so it should be listed separately.
Sir, the mother was hemorrhaging at the time.
It was to save her life. How can you calculate this now?
Even saving a life is an expense. Issue a supplemental bill and have her sign it, or I refuse to pay. Attorney Lu, these were your exact words.
Don't be in such a hurry. There's more.
You even plotted against us. Didn't you say Lin Yu fell on her own? According to this form, the child pushed her down, and the victim had to pay the 2,000 yuan red envelope.
No, That's not true. Lu Ming was the one who said
To make Xiaoyu pay. It has nothing to do with us. That form was written by Lu Ming. Look at that line. To be repaid in full by the wife. He wrote that.
Yes, Lu Ming wrote it. We never asked for that red envelope.
He gave it to us voluntarily.
Lu Ming, aren't you the one who loves to calculate everything? Today, in front of everyone, let's calculate the cost of your 12 million yuan luxury apartment and the child in Miss Zhao Cixi's womb.
Let's calculate this account as well.
Hengqiang Group's escrow fund account. Lu Ming, you've got some nerve.
I won't pay. On New Year's Eve, you said a little fall wouldn't kill me and told me to stop being dramatic.
Now, you don't need to say a word. The sound of a successful payment is the best answer.
Mr. Wang, this is Lin Yu. She gathered all the evidence by herself.
Miss Lin,
Hengqiang Group will fully cooperate with you through the upcoming legal procedures. We will recover the funds Lu Ming embezzled through the proper legal channels.
Mr. Wang, she already has me.
Fair enough. Then I won't overstep. By the way, Miss Lin, feel free to reach out to me at Hengqiang anytime if you ever need anything.
Thank you, Mr. Wang.
The chain of evidence is complete. We have the witnesses, the physical evidence, and the confession. Not even a miracle could overturn this case for Lu Ming.
What about Zhao Cixi?
She's a co-beneficiary. She might claim she didn't know, but since the apartment is in her name, it will be hard for her to prove she was completely uninvolved. Either way, she'll have to give up that apartment in the end.
You've been preparing this case for 3 years, and it's finally closed today. How do you feel?
It's hard to describe. I don't feel happy, just relieved. It feels like a heavy burden I've carried for so long can finally be put down.